in 2009, I was shocked. Even I was shocked when I interviewed the former editor in chief of the New England Journal of Medicine, Dr. Marcia Angel. And it's quite shocking for those of you who love the peer reviewed medical literature. I know you read it every day, right? Every one of our readers here at Epic Times that listen to Jerry Doyle and Robert Scott Belcher, that's all we have time to do is read the medical journal. Of course, no, we don't. We rely on, well, actually, I do, but that's another story altogether. Actually, we rely on the experts, so to speak, in the medical field, the PhDs, to do our work for us, and then they tell us what the science says, and then we go out and just do whatever the government then says who funded it, largely the taxpayers. Of course, I've been poking my finger in the eye of established science for many years. Jerry Doyle happens to enjoy that for some reason. But we do too, especially when it's the wrong information that's driving us into illness, not health and wellness. And what did Dr. Marcia Angel say? Here it is. It's simply no longer possible to believe much of the clinical research that is published or to rely on the judgment or trusted physicians or authoritative medical guidelines. I take no pleasure in this conclusion, which I reached slowly and reluctantly over my 2 decades as an editor of the New England Journal of Medicine. That's shocker number one. That's just something we knew from years ago. And of course, I'm outside of the box in many ways in the health and healing realm because of my upbringing in a pharmaceutical and medical family, and then leaving it in my early 20s to take a different course for my health and healing. That already put me at odds with some of my family, but they've come around. But the question is, what is the controversy today? Has Marcia Angel, the editor of the New England Journal of Medicine, been proven to be a fraud, a phony, a quackpot because she said what she said? Well, a new study's just come out. This is crazy. You're going to hear it now from the British Medical Journal, another esteemed medical journal. Scientific peer reviews are a sacred cow, ready to be slaughtered, says former editor of the British Medical Journal. And it doesn't get much better than that. Super Don, I know how much you rely upon the medical peer-reviewed literature. Every day you wake up, you figure out, do I have 1 cup of coffee or two? Where do I put the coffee? Because the journals are telling me something different every day.
I was at the grocery store the other day and I wanted to get some bread and I didn't know which bread to buy because I just evidence-based science just had not figured that one out yet. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it's crazy. I mean, here you've got the British Medical Journal editor saying that that it could be right, could be wrong. Actually, majority of it might be wrong. What do you say to that when you're a scientist?
Well, the thing is, in years past, and even in days past, you try to attack the messenger. But the messengers are now coming from so far within the peer-reviewed publications, from the editor heads, if you will, in chief of not only the New England Journal, but the JAMA Journal, the Journal of the American Medical Association, as well as what we just mentioned, the British Medical Journal. Dr. Richard Smith, who edited it for more than a decade, he said there's no evidence that peer review was a good method of detecting errors and claimed that most of what is published in journals is just plain wrong or nonsense. So it's not just me, the humble homeopath with a bad attitude on radio, talking about these things, but when things happen to you that defy logic and common sense in terms of what the experts are saying and then what you know to be true and what you know is what they're saying is false, at a certain point you begin to question how legitimate, how valid is everything coming out of the peer-reviewed system. And now the peer reviewers on the inside are trashing their own system, saying it just doesn't work. Dr. Smith said pre-publication peer review was a slow process, it's very expensive, and perhaps ironically lacking in evidence that it actually works in its chief goal of spotting errors. Because somebody said, can we add another layer to peer review? And it's not working. And then there's even more that just came out. This is off of the New Scientist. We pulled this article down. You can see it here in the links in the show at Epic Times. Most scientific papers are probably wrong. Another shocking headline. And this is from an epidemiologist at the University of Ioannina. I can't even say it. It's in Greece, in medicine, in Greece. He says that small sample sizes, poor study design, research bias, and selective reporting and other problems combine to make most research findings false. But even large, well-designed studies are not always right, meaning that scientists and the public have to be wary of reported findings. Now, is that me saying no peer-reviewed literature is legitimate? No. I utilize it in my research and reference points, but then I'm always putting the caveat out there that next week things could change because the facts, in fact, do change very readily and regularly, if you will. So the thing is, when you hear a journal paper being lauded as the science, or when somebody is claiming that the science is settled, it's not just Robert Scott Bell and Super Don that's calling that into question. It's the insiders within the peer-reviewed system that are saying it's a mess, it's a wreck. We don't even know what we can believe is valid anymore. So continue to listen to grandma and grandpa, the things that they did, or their ancestors, which are yours too, for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Find that those things that survive the test of time, we're all going to be coming back to that eventually. The question is, how soon are you going to absorb and, let's say, remedy the wrongs that are being done and spouted in the mainstream media, thanks to big money going through big government, big media, and what we call big pharma. So that's it. Good news, happy news. Listen to grandma and grandpa. All will be well. Thanks for being with us.